channeling the power of the mole ninja. But I'm missing something. Now we are ready to begin.
Shadowversity.
Greetings, I'm Shad, and if you've seen any type of content on my YouTube channel, you might understand that I am a big sword enthusiast. I love everything about them, and I love learning how to use them properly, from historical sources as well as my own experimentation. The thing is, the path to true sword enthusiasm can traverse many different areas, one more common than the others, which is what we're going to be exploring in this video. And yes, we are going to be exploring the mythical, the legendary mole ninja. Now, the first thing, some of us, if you're a sword enthusiast, there's a very good chance that you might have actually trod the path of a mole ninja. And I'll put up my hands, yes! I have been a mole ninja in the past, and so we shouldn't always look down on it, because it is an area that many of us need to pass through before we advance beyond it. And there's a couple of things that help you advance, like evolve, achieve a higher level from mole ninja to true sword enthusiasm. And some of those things are, one, learning actual martial arts, not just claiming you know how to do them. Actually go to a martial arts club, and instead of posing, you learn how to do it properly, and it could be anything. Classic, good, effective martial arts, HEMA, lots of things. So that's one important thing that I hope you get there. The other one is also losing your virginity. Probably a virgin if you're a mole ninja. I'm married, I have 5 kids, okay? I'm well and truly advanced past that. The thing is though, where does mole ninjaing come from? And what is it? You might be wondering, are you familiar with the legendary mole ninja? When you might have been off partying and stuff. Well, while you were off partying, these men were studying the blade. And so it begins first with the concept of the mole cop. And the mole cop were generally people who, security guards, that take their job very seriously, and they will patrol those malls armed to the teeth, okay? Tactical vests and weapons, everything, as the people who probably take a little bit too far. And once the idea of the mole cop became cemented in everyone's mind, where it's like, you're not really a cop, you're kind of a fake cop, but you're posing as a cop, but it's, nice to try. Well, this is where the idea of the mole ninja comes from. And the thing is, there's a hard reality that everyone needs to accept. And it's basically, if you pose as any type of ninja at all, and when I say ninja, headband, masks, shuriken, definitely, that type of ninja that you're thinking of, even like, oh, if I'm really good at it and I train it and I study ninjutsu, it's not what real ninjas were like. In actual fact, if you want to hear a really good discussion on it, check out this interview that Matt Easton from Scholar Gladiatory has recently done with Anthony Cummins. Anthony Cummins is a great researcher on what the historical ninja was like, and he works off of direct historical sources. And when you look at what the true historical ninja isn't really even a term. Shinobi is the correct term, going back in the day. Yeah, they're very different, all right? Like they had a dedicated sword. If you're ninja, you just used a straight sword. Come off it. Right, anyway, so that's the thing. If you've got a ninja toe,
Shad, if the mole ninjas find out where you live, you gotta move.
I better move.
You gotta move.
There are levels of mole ninjaing. I will acknowledge that, okay? But even I myself have done some videos on what the real ninja was like, and again, great resources is Anthony Cummins. So there is this, but granted, there are martial artists who are far more serious and dedicated to it, who are they're less mole ninja than the true mole ninja. To be a true mole ninja, usually you don't have much experience in any types of effective martial arts. Though an argument can be said is like, how effective are some martial arts? They're also usually very unfamiliar with any type of movement or physical exercise. So that's another good sign of mole ninjaing, just their general physicality, okay? Can they do what they need to do? Now, I have traversed the realms of mole ninjaing, but some people might accuse me of being a mole ninja. I have been one in the past, I admit. But no, I've also studied actual martial arts. If you need any evidence of it, ask Oz about my headlock.
My neck still hurts. And so does my heart.
Look, there's videos of me actually engaging in serious sparring and stuff like that. And anyway, but also, definitely not a virgin. There is an important caveat that should be mentioned when looking at mole ninja weapons, and it's that a lot of these mole ninja weapons are actually trying to reflect a lot of the designs that might come up in fantasy. And in fantasy, there are some very wacky designs, sometimes really impractical, but also there are instances where some of these impractical designs are justified from the context of the fantasy world itself, like magic and other things like that might justify different weapon designs. And so if you have a weapon that is like a super cutting weapon on every single edge, regardless of if it has these weird shapes or spikes on the blade and everything, and if it's made out of a magical light material, you can get away with really eccentric, exaggerated designs, similar to some of the designs that we see in mole ninja ones, and they would be functional in that world. But when you make it in the real world and people make replicas, they're nowhere near as functional. But because it's got the cool factor, people then pick it up without understanding the true effectiveness and the proper design the sword's supposed to have to be functional, and they just think it's awesome and they pose for it, and you get the cringe factor as well. And so a good example is, say, the Stormlight Archive swords, the Shard Blades. The Shard Blades are often very exaggerated, flamboyant designs, but they're magical weapons, and nearly every edge on it can cut regardless if it's got spikes and everything. It's not going to get caught on material and everything. And it's a good example of over-the-top designs that are logically validated in the world because of the fantasy. I also kind of do that in my own book, Shadow of the Conqueror, because the swords are magical swords. They're called sonicals, and that can justify strange and flamboyant designs as well. And if you're interested in either of those books, my own book or say Stormlight Archives, well, I got great news for you because you can actually get access to them for free. They're great books, and if you want to just zone out, zen, and listen to a great book, because sometimes you want to, if you're a mole ninja, you just have to meditate and listen to a good story in the background and everything. Well, this video is sponsored by Audible, and you can get access to them for free. Really good deal. Seriously, Audible is doing this brilliant deal where you can get your first audiobook for free. So you can get the first one in the Stormlight Archives, which is The Way of Kings, or you can get my audiobook, Chronicles of Everfall, Shadow of the Conqueror. And how it works, if you go to www.audible.com/Shadowversity, or if you're in the US, you can text Shadowversity to 500-500. Right now, for a limited time, you can get 60% off your first 3 months. That's only $5.95 a month, and with that you get a monthly credit to get any audiobook you want, and trust me, that monthly subscription is literally a fraction of the retail cost of these audiobooks. I've been signed up for Audible for years, and I have like a massive library that I've been able to build up because they're so affordable. The deals that you can get through Audible are phenomenal, and on top of that you get access to the Audible Plus catalog, and these are audiobooks, self-help tracks, sleep tracks, podcasts and everything, a whole range of content in the Audible Plus catalog that you get access to right away. You don't need to pay for these individual things, you get access to them with your subscription. And remember, when you sign up, you get a 30-day free trial. So you get access to the Plus catalog instantly for free. These first 30 days are free, and with that you get a free credit to choose any book you want. It's a brilliant deal. Check it out. And all you need to do is go to www.audible.com/Shadowversity, or if you're in the US, you text Shadowversity to 500-500. The Stormlight Archives is brilliant. Such glorious fantasy. You can listen to it when you're driving, or you're cooking, or you're doing anything, but I just enjoy it so much that I end up just listening to it because it is one of the great entertainment mediums of the modern day. I think you're missing out if you're not enjoying audiobooks, which is why I love Audible sponsorship, because it's something I wholeheartedly recommend and I use always. So please do go check that out. Thank you for Audible for sponsoring this video. And now let's get back to mole ninjas. So we understand the concepts of a mole ninja, where it comes from. It's kind of someone posing and everything. But then there are certain weapons that you can definitely see that are mole ninja-like weapons. And as a sign of my mole ninja past, well, guess what? I've kept some of the legacy still. The legacy is I still have some of those items with me. Let me show you a classic example of what is definitely a mole ninja weapon. This right here, I wonder if you've seen it before. Like some of the crappiest wall-hanging, overly designed, purely just for aesthetic kind of things, where this is such a classic mole ninja sword. and it was one of the first swords I ever bought. Look, I was young, okay? And I wanted to study the blade, because all my friends are off partying. And so, a couple of, like, this is just a horrid thing. Stainless steel sword, very, very blunt, barely an edge on it. And so this is 440 stainless steel, all right? Overly designed and awkward to hold because you have this thing kind of, so when you have something that is just, they think it's cool, yet its functionality is just garbage and it's just mainly just look cool. Because it's all about posing, you just want to look cool. And so another sign of mole ninjaing, posing, trying to, like, one, usually poor kind of LARPing of cooler characters in anime and stuff, definitely anime, and making bad poses where they think they look tough, definitely a sign of a mole ninja. And so, yeah, look at this thing. It's like, oh, knife in the thing with the knife nearly coming loose as well. It's so cool, it's got like shuriken hairpins in it.
So when did you buy that tremendous piece of crap?
Whoa, this was a good long time ago. Like, I must have been, I don't know, 12 or something. But it is a glorious piece of crap. And mole ninja weapon here. But there are even grander examples of mole ninjaing. And we're going to go online and actually look through some of the greatest mole ninja things, but also, like, just, for instance, if you Google search mole ninja, let's see what comes up. Just on the Google search for mole ninja, you can see some classic mole ninja right here. Like this image, this is one of the greatest mole ninja images you will ever find, where how much, practice with this individual. Look, no shade on the individual, because I've been there too. This is a normal place of progression. This is where a lot of sword enthusiasm starts, where you just want to get cool weapons and you want to look cool with them and stuff. Well, then you can actually start to learn how to properly use them. But this type of weapon particularly, where it's locked onto the hand and you have these weird hand guards, like it's something you would see out of a Resident Evil film or something like that, where it's just there to look cool when the actual practical utility is just awful, and the design is weird. Like see how the blade hooks in after the curve, like that would get snagged on things and make a cut more difficult and stuff. And it's really awful. I mean, what is this? These abominations. Holy crap.
They're reverse butterfly knives. So you know how the butterfly knife opens up to let the knife come out?
Yeah.
This one, both the knives have to slide down past your hand to get in the grip.
It is like, look at how the blade stops, curves in to give like this cool look, but there's no blade on that part that cuts into the actual thing. You've got edge, and so if you're trying to cut something, you're just going to get caught on this blunt part. It's utterly retarded. Like, this design is awful, and but it still look cool. So like, this is a classic mole ninja weapon. Like oh my goodness.
But to close it, it has to go past your hand. You have to swap hands to close it.
Yeah, you'd have to close one and then close the other. Oh, whoa, wow. Whoa, wow. I have no idea what this is. This is the type of thing we need Ian from Forgotten Weapons to respond to or react to. He probably already has. But oh, wow. That's not real. To me, that's mole cop, not mole ninja. So his face has been blurred out to protect him. Fine. But look at the pose, right? This is glorious mole ninja. And I think my outfit is very accurate to mole ninja thing. You got the headband, but it actually looks cringe.
That looks like an early Shadiversity video.
It does, doesn't it? Oh, look at these. Look at these. A classic crappy ninja toe, which is like just carved out of a flat sheet of metal. Then they ground an edge on it and wrapped up the handle. But no, that's a tactical ninja weapon because it's got weird cord on it and it's just utilitarian. It's awful. And look at that golden plated, blinged up thing. Interestingly enough, that might still be able to do some decent cuts. I think the weight distribution would help it out. And even though it's got the blade where it comes down and then curves in, it curves in much lower down the blade. Because this is the thing, we're going to be looking at some of these weapons, and if they can be credited to having some measure of functionality, well, those are the mole ninjas you need to watch out for, because they might be able to actually do some damage. What is that abomination? Oh my goodness. I really hope no one thought that that's a practical design. Because this is where the Mole Ninja stuff gets really cringe, where they make something just awful, right? Like that would restrict your movements. Look at the blade coming out near the bottom there. If you bring your arm in too much or movements, you're going to be cutting yourself. Especially if you, that's just awful. And then it's got like a knife sticking out front, but oh my goodness. But it looks badass, right? No. It's just... Oh. Glorious Mole Ninjaing. Look at these shirtless men. Guys, if you actually ripped, okay, I could then give it a pass. But you've got nothing to show off there.
Skinny guy with a six-pack does not count.
Yes, skinny guy with six-pack, those are not showing off gains. That's showing off losses, so much to the point where your emaciated muscles can be seen. Oh, gosh.
While they're at the mall, they should buy some food.
I don't know why, but I like this guy. It's because he's not trying so hard. He's just like, look, I'm just going to wear my shirt, my jeans, and pose with the sword. This is a guy that's on his way past Mole Ninjaing and is almost a sword enthusiast. Because sometimes you just want to show off a sword. The thing is, though, it is a katana. Katanas are cool. Just saying. Comes off a little bit weebish saying. What is... Oh. Okay, so let's break this one down. This, I feel, was made by some type of fantasy artist. They just wanted to make something really cool. Maybe it's a ritualistic dagger, anything like that. And if it was just like, this is a ritual dagger to just stab someone in the heart while they're on an altar or something like that from some dark thing, I think fine, you can go to town with crazy designs, right? But the thing is, though, there will be, inexperienced people who don't know about practical weapons and everything who will see this and think it looks so cool and intimidating, and they actually think, that's an awesome knife.
Looks like a shovel.
So, in case you don't know, do you know why bladed knives aren't that great? This is different to, say, tridents, where there's validity or reason behind having multiple stabby things. But on a knife, like 2 stabs, if you stab someone in a lethal area, that'll probably kill them just as much if you had 2 doing it as 1. Like, it's overkill. And then you're literally dividing the amount of force you can to penetrate someone, or like your enemy, right, by 2 on the 2 blades. And so it's restricting the amount of depth that you could get in a thrust, a stab, and we're getting a bit dark here, but it's true. And if you really want to achieve lethal damage, you need to penetrate the vital organs. And having 2 things, that means to get through thick clothing sometimes and get caught on things, it's very impractical. There's a reason why historically, if you look at medieval daggers, weapons, stuff like that, do you see many 2-bladed kind of daggers? No, but it looks cool. And then it's a very strong Mole Ninja sign when people aren't aware of just what practical weapons are, how they're supposed to work and stuff like that, and they're wielding it or posing with it like they're so cool and badass and this weapon is great when the weapon is just cringe. Oh boy, that is very much Mole Ninja territory. We're just going to the Mole Ninja page here, and so this to me is Mall Cop territory. I mean, I see the Mole Ninja aspect because of the Star Wars, but I don't see too many swords there. That's more Mall Cop kind of stuff.
What?
I don't know, see, if I saw a security guard like that, I would think that's awesome. Like, wouldn't you want a security guard who looks like that more than just, a guy wearing, like, the Mall Cop outfit? And see, he looks like he could handle himself. I wouldn't want to mess with him.
He's seen too many Samuel L. Jackson movies, and he's wearing them all at once.
So this is that kind of belongs, though. It's in a video game.
I know,
it's when people are posing and trying to be cool and tough when they're obviously not. That's Mole Ninja stuff.
Does that look cool, though?
I mean, I kind of do have a philosophy. Add a sword to anything, it does increase its coolness.
Yeah.
And so, these Mole Ninja nerds, I was one. Look, like they are cooler than they would have been because they have a sword. They do add a lot of cringe with it because they think they're tough once they have the sword.
Well, are they cringe or is the weaponry?
It's a bit of both.
It's a union of...
Yeah, if not knowing that the weapon is cringe makes you the more cringe. The cringe of both, the coolness of neither. Oh, look at this collection of Mall Ninja weapons right here. So look, that would actually be an effective knife, granted, and I think it's the bling that makes this Mall Ninja territory. Like the over-the-top, you know, colour and bling and stuff. The sword, though, like if we go back and replay this, see that sword at the top thing? That's very much a Mall Ninja weapon. It'll still be deadly, but ooh, it's... Actually, no, I'm kind of switching my view on that sword. I'm kind of liking it. Oh, see this, look at this one. Look at that sword. Holy crap. It's all blurred out though, but that is like such a piece of junk. Oh, that is an epic Mall Ninja sword right there.
But Chad, it's only $22 and it comes with Crocs.
$21. Oh, and look, yeah, look, you can get whatever those are. The shoes. Crocs, clobber knockers, a discreet weapon. Core? I'm intrigued. I want to know what's going. Oh, that's not a weapon though. That's not a weapon. I feel cheated. That's a magic trick tool where, you know, the magicians, that thing would be so thin and flimsy, it wouldn't be able to do barely any damage at all. Okay. If he was trying to say that's a cool weapon, like a real weapon, that's totally Mall Ninja. He qualifies as well. If he thinks a piece of crap, you know, flick out stuff like that has no weight, would be flimsy as all hell, is a real effective weapon, oh, congratulations, you are a Mall Ninja. Oh, hey, check this one out. Oh.
What is that?
Okay, see the handle? There are a lot of different versions of this type of sword. And there's one that actually has like, you know, like it's curved. Guess what? I used to own that version. There's that handle with the curved blade. I told you! I was a Mall Ninja! Okay? It's great. Like, funny thing, right? The one I bought was actually very sharp, and then I went out and I was like chopping, you know, up trees and stuff. Totally Mall Ninja things, chopping branches off of trees. But that handle is made out of so many different parts and it's so poorly made, it all just became really loose, like it's awful. Like really poorly made, bad steel, and so it was like trying to be cool. I could see it as like, if you could make it functional, I could see like it would be a cool looking sword, but they're not. They just fall apart. Oh yes! Oh yes! This is a classic, perfect Mall Ninja weapon. Oh wow! Look at this piece of crap. Now, it's not to say I couldn't necessarily see validity with like a weapon that's a blade at the top and blade at the bottom, because there's a question about how do you hold a knife? Do you hold it in the conventional grip or ice pick grip? But if you get one that has blades out, you get the best of both worlds. There is some validity. I'm not necessarily criticizing that. I'm criticizing the shape of the blade. It's awful. Like, again, see how it comes, like, it's like a classic Mall Ninja design where they have a blade coming down and then they cut inwards and have this hooky thing, right? That would get caught on stuff and restrict, like, drawing cuts and things like that and get in the way. And like, look at the back curve where it's got, like, this big kind of circular oblong kind of cut at the back, right? If you stab someone, that could get caught on the flesh and you wouldn't be able to pull your blade out or get caught on clothing and things. It would become awful. And that handle looks, horrendously uncomfortable. Oh my goodness. This is a glorious piece of crap. Amazingly so. And if anyone owns something like that, if you're not owning it, ironically, for jest, shame on you. You should feel awful about yourself. You're a terrible person. Go and repent. Get on your knees and pray for forgiveness. And I have as well, because I have owned Ninja stuff. But I've gone through the process, okay? I've done it already.
Very cool, Chef.
Very cool, right? Very cool. I love Mall Ninjas. Look, I have a special place in my heart. I feel I understand them. I feel I do. Hey, Mall Ninja axe. That looks very, very heavy and very poorly made. Oh. Ooh.
That blade would snap off.
Yes, I will put flails like one-handed, not the long-handed flails. I think there are actually some flails that have more validity as combat weapons, but flails like this, I've already been critical of flails, but this is like, okay, this is definitely a more ninja weapon. One, there's the dubious effectiveness of flails. Two, see how long the chain is in the ball, that would actually be, is long enough to hit your fist and your hand. Like imagine a spike ball like that hitting your hand. Oh gosh, now you might say, hey, you just need to use it right. That's always the criticism about nunchucks, everything. You just need to use it right. No, it's not about that. It's the fact, even if you're trained to limit or lessen the likelihood that it can hit back at you and do serious injury to yourself, it still has the capacity to do so. And there's a chance that you can lose control of the weapon and it can still do damage to the user. That just alone makes them garbage weapons, all right? And this, oh wow, this is next level cringe. And the bling, see how blinged up they are. It's like this chrome color, this thing. Cringe, next level.
They look like dog toys.
Yeah, they almost do, don't they? Gosh, this is awful. Nunchucks are so bad. They're just awful. They're an abomination of a weapon. I like to look at weapons and ways to improve it. How could I improve nunchucks? Well, let me show you. Done. Upgrade complete. A far superior weapon in nearly every way. Ooh, see-through. No, I hope that's just plastic. Beautifully handcarved quartz. Look, I can see the appeal just as an ornament. Like it looks pretty. You know, a quartz see-through crystal kind of dagger. It would shatter. Like under just the smallest amount of, it will definitely break under the smallest amount of pressure. Oh boy. Oh gosh, that's awful and just offensive as a Christian.
What?
That's, oh wow. The power of Christian knife compels you. Do you think this is the type of thing a vampire hunter would use? You know, because you can ward off the vampires, and then it's a grappling hook as well. And it's not a weapon. Like you could hurt someone with it, but it's a crappy weapon. Oh, all right. What's this? This knife looks interesting. Flick knife, double flick knife with this bat symbol. Oh hell yeah! So all right. To be real though, that would be a really awkward thing to hold. Look at the ears of the bat head there. That would just poke into your hand. That would be so uncomfortable. Look, I've already acknowledged that there might be some validity in a double-bladed dagger where you can hit on the bottom, but I would be worried about, just keeping track of it. But you could, do the gives a bit of versatility, okay? Maybe I should do a whole video on analysing a double-bladed dagger. I've done double-bladed sword. Why not double-bladed dagger? Do you reckon Batman would use one of these things?
I think he would, for the first time ever, kill whoever had one. Because honestly, they're awful.
Oh, look at this collection. What a glorious collection. And you know what's great about it? I can at least see one sword amongst there that I do own. Check it out. I actually still own some of these. Now, I've done a full video reviewing this sword, and there are elements of this sword that are actually redeemable, and I've redesigned it to make it properly functional and stuff. But as is, this is a pretty horrendous, heavy, wall-hanging piece of junk. Hey, it was given to me as a gift. I wasn't going to turn a gift horse in the mouth, all right? But I can see it right there in this image. Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, I've already admitted it. I've admitted I've traversed the realms of the Mall Ninja. I know them. And remember, we shouldn't look down at it, because this is just the path that many people need to travel to become the true sword enthusiasts. They love swords, they're getting into it, they think they're awesome, and they want to pose them to look cool. And this is just the natural process to understand the true glory of swords and how awesome they really are, and the true function and validity of them. And oftentimes they need to be kind of deflowered of their weebery and their katana worship and stuff. And don't worry, people like me are there to help them along the way. So looking at this collection, There's like one or two swords that wouldn't be horrendous, but then there are other ones like it's got a ninja toe. Oh, wow. That's glorious. I see a Kit Ray fantasy design one there. That's like a lot of the Kit Ray designs are over-the-top fantasy to look pretty and gorgeous. But then some people actually, this is such a cool sword, and because it's cool, it must be effective, right? In terms of functionality, oh, those designs are not functional.
Is that a helmet on the left?
Yeah, oh, that does not look like a nice designed helmet. There is this weird thing right here. It almost looks like a pick, but then there's like a blade at the end. Is that connected?
Some sort of axe.
That is, oh gosh. Then you got this like Klingon-y looking kind of dagger. Classic wall hanging over. Just look at the bulkiness of that. This is a total fantasy over-the-top design. And see how the blade comes down and just cuts in, and you probably wouldn't have an edge there. It's awful. So there are definitely a lot of Maul Ninja weapons in this picture. That is glorious collection. I love it. Hey, Cold Steel! Oh! Oh man, I love that guy. I think he's great. The Cold Steel guy is great, but oh boy, that's like classic Maul Ninjas, okay? They don't know how to be properly responsible a lot of the time, and they want to do stuff that's cool, and then they try and be awesome, and there are some like horrifying videos of some Maul Ninjas seriously injuring themselves, like cutting off fingers and stuff. It's like awful, like where they think they're so cool and so great. There's even one where, we won't put it up, but I'll give you the account, where these guys are partying and this guy thinks he's so great with a katana, he can, trust me, I'm so good. And so they get a guy to hold like, I don't know, a cigarette or a matchstick out of his mouth, and he would chop it in half from his mouth, and he ends up chopping off the guy's nose. It's like, it's just, don't be stupid with swords, people. Be safe and learn how to be responsible with them and learn how to use them, not only responsibly, but also effectively as well. So that's a big Maul Ninja sign about being unsafe with weapons. But that one is pretty unpredictable. Who would have thought it would have bounced back like that? And the blade full on spins around and is going for him.
That's a, what do you call it? That's a feature, not a bug.
Oh, wow. What an awful... That is 100% Maul Ninja. Like, that is glorious. Oh, come on. This is like a bayoneted, gun.
Bayoneted pistol.
Bayoneted pistol. There were actually guns made historically. Look at my sword gun video, and I talk about some of these bladed guns that were made with a permanent fixed knife on it. They're real. And so that one is not as impractical as people think. That the additional weight makes it more difficult to aim.
But imagine trying to stab someone with it.
Oh, if you run out of bullets.
But you're better off having a blade on the bottom part.
It's a very small blade, granted. It's a little blade. Oh, classic Maul Ninja. That looks like a LARP sword, though.
That looks
almost.
like you. Like 5 years ago.
I feel offended by that, Oz.
Well,
I'd never drunk alcohol.
Oh, I didn't know that was alcohol.
How dare you, like, everything else maybe, but the alcohol? Come on. Oh, Assassin's Creed in real life. Yep. Oh, I like that feature. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, it's cool just for the fun of it, to cosplay and things. It's not an effective weapon. I've done a whole video looking at the Assassin's Creed knife. And we do credit, if you can do that with the knife, it gives it a lot more range of motion, which is important for knives. But because it's still fixed to the arm, you can't really rotate. If you're holding the dagger part down, you can't really rotate your hand too much. But they seem to have got the spring-loaded mechanism out pretty solidly. I don't mind that. I wonder if you can accidentally trigger it, though, if you have your hand down. That would be interesting.
You can do it in an opposite way where you have to flip it out with your force and then just moving your hand makes it go back up.
Thing is, though, this is actually legitimately cool. It's nowhere near as much cringe. And so it is less Maul Ninja territory, more fun cosplay stuff. So, like I said, there's some supposed Mall Ninja weapons, I'm going to give a pass. I like this one. Come on. How can you say that's not cool? Because remember, a true Mall Ninja thing is something that people think is cool, but is horrible in terms of its true effective utility. Look, there are problems with its true effective utility, but it's not nearly as bad as a lot of the other designs in Assassin's Creed. Again, go check out that video. This, I don't know, if you pose with it, yes. If it's just there for ornamentation, just something that looks cool, I wouldn't call it a Mall Ninja weapon. What's the Cold Steel guy doing? He's like cutting something up with like is it one of those hook knives? Yeah. Those things are everywhere. I really don't see the appeal. So they have like a ring that you can put around your finger and that has like a hooky kind of blade onto it. This seems just nowhere near as good as like a well-made just knife that has more versatility in its use. And is cutting cardboard. Cardboard. Is that supposed to impress anyone? I can get a kitchen knife and do the same thing. But it's so badass, man! Come off it. And it's like... He's always reverse gripping with it. It's like... You could obviously hold the knife up, but it seems to be like it's meant to be made reverse grip, and it's less effective to stab. This is more of like a slashing knife, which like stabbing is actually far more lethal with knives than cutting. And so if this is like more dedicated at cutting, it also, I'll see why there are things that rub me the wrong way with that type of knife, and you see it everywhere. Hey, slide belt. I don't know, if there's like I don't mind hidden knives. I think hidden knives can be cool. Oh, hang on. Bladed throwing cards? I have issues with shuriken already with how pathetically effective they would be in a real combat situation. The most you could do is just get a guy to flinch or to cover his face when you throw at him, but they're not lethal weapons unless you can get like the jugular. Good luck with that. Like shuriken are just garbage weapons already, and then playing cards? Look, I can see the novelty, but if anyone thinks these are cool weapons or effective, oh boy. Oh boy. And just making the playing cards, gosh, these are less effective than actual shuriken, and shuriken are already really bad. Okay, we're talking about the classic ninja stars, right? The ninja throwing stars, because at least they have points that can get stronger piercing damage on them, right? Because these have longer, flatter bladed edges, if the flat of one of these cards hits a surface, it's very rarely going to stick in, it'll just bounce off. You see how these ones are stuck in because the actual corners of the card have hit the tree? Because it's almost like the corner, if you have a point, it would penetrate deeper into the target. This kind of design just makes it like horribly worse. What a garbage piece of weapon. You could almost say using these weapons in combat would be a bit of a gambit. What is that? A gun attachment to another gun. It's great. I don't know who that. Oh, some guy tried to attack someone with a sword, probably. Oh, finger knife. Oh wow, that is ludicrous on many levels. Oh, who invents these are people who are just thinking about the rule of cool without considering practicality, utility at all, and they fool people who don't know any better just because of the cool factor. And they're like, wouldn't this be great? Like, try and stab someone with your finger. Your finger has so much structure and strength that you could really stab someone in, and when you really press hard or hit a hard surface, you're not going to break your finger at all or bend it back really, like... Is that more effective than your fist, Oz?
Sorry, Nathan.
Hey, what's this thing? Does it tell it show us? Oh, it's not a video.
Looks like
I don't know. I like him. This guy's awesome. And the daggers aren't horrible. They're just blinged up. They've got the cringy bling on them. But it's not a horrible knife. Oh, sharp combat shovels. I'm on the fence on those. I would want to try one out. I think, hey, I've killed a snake with a shovel, all right? Shovels can be effective weapons. So, you know, like even some of the military grade shovels do have edges on them and can be substitute kind of like backup weapons, and they can be pretty lethal. And so, I mean, think about a mace. It's a stick with a heavy striking thing on the end. This is similar to that, but it's got bladed edges on it. I mean, honestly, there's some validity and effectiveness to bladed shovel weapons that can also be used as shovel. It's a useful tool. And so this is an interesting, maybe we'll end on this, where you might think it's a ludicrous idea when there's actually far more validity to this concept than you might credit. And so I would not class these bladed shovel weapons as mole ninja weapons. Hot take, we'll see. Let me know in the comments below. So tell me, have you ever did you pass through the time of mole ninjaing on your way to being a weapons enthusiast? Are you a mole ninja now? And if you are, don't worry. People like me are here to help you to move on. It's sometimes a necessary step, but it's good to move on past it. Okay, get over the cringe, you know, get a girlfriend, get married and stuff. And become a true sword enthusiast. So looking forward to reading your comments below. Thank you for watching, and of course, hope to see you on the next video here on Shadowversity. So until that time, farewell.